Good afternoon. My name is Cynthia Sabota. I'm one of the reference librarians, and I'm here to help Comm 102 Professor Tierney learn how to use some of the basic resources in the Maxwell Library. This is just a beginning introductory level, and I hope it's beneficial for you. I'm going to start with the library's webpage, show you how to get to the Comm 102 guide, and give you some details on how to research the databases. So if you start at the library's homepage, which is a subcategory of the college's page, you can go to your student portal and click library, or you can go to library.bridgew.edu/home. You can come to this page. Professor Tierney will also be providing you with a link to the exact guide that I will be showing you. This is the library's main page. If you go to Research and Assignments and click on it, you'll find various ways that you can learn information on how to use the library. If you need to contact a librarian, you can go to Ask a Librarian, and there's various ways that you can ask us for some help and information. If you need help on citing sources, if you don't know how to cite your sources in APA, MLA, or another resource, under Research, Guides, and Assignments, you can find some examples of how to cite your resources. The Education and Resource Center will be of value to any of you who are education majors, and you can check that out at your leisure at a separate time. If we do not have access to a particular resource, we are glad to try to obtain that article for you or that book for you from another library. That service is called Interlibrary Loan Services. You can get to it on the main page under Research and Assignment Services or Research and Assignments Interlibrary Loan, and I'll also show you how to get to it from the Comm 102 guide. The Comm 102 guide is it's a subject guide to the Maxwell Library. From the library's homepage, you can note under Research and Assignments that it says Max Guides, Subject Resources Guides. So if you click on that, this will give you a list of all the research guides for Max Guides that we have, and you can go to the Communication Studies Guides. They're in alphabetical order by title, so I'm going to scroll down to Communication Studies, and the very first guide that's been created for Comm 102 classes is Comm 102 Public Speaking. This is the guide right here. If you want to check the online catalog to see what books we have, you can check the Maxwell Library catalog. For this particular guide, I've been asked to highlight the databases, so I'm not going to highlight that particular resource. But if you'd like to check to see what books or videos we have, check Koha, our Maxwell Library catalog. If you're interested in how to assess whether a resource is good or not, there is a sample on our library page. It talks about currency, relevancy, authority, accuracy, and purpose in writing resources and creating them. And you're welcome to view that at your leisure as well. I'm going to concentrate on the online databases. We have well over 100 databases, but for your particular class, you might want to start with those that are listed in the online databases list right here. Academic OneFile and Academic Search Premier are general databases. They include magazines, newspapers, and scholarly research. There's also some newspapers ones that are more focused. Nexus Uni and news and newspapers are sources if you want to find some newspaper articles on your various topics. But we're going to concentrate on one. They're used very similarly. They're used with Boolean search terms. Boolean search terms are terms that you use the words and, or, and not between your search terms. And I'll show you how in more detail about that later on. I'm going to demonstrate the database Academic Search Premier. It's a commonly used database at Maxwell Library. If you click on Academic Search Premier, it will load up the database, and sometimes when you log on, you will need to log on with your BSU username and your BSU password. So it's like J1 Smith, and whatever password you have created is common. Once it's loaded up, you'll notice that there's search boxes. Each search box is for a different subject heading. So I'm going to demonstrate the topic of climate change. Now, climate change is a very broad topic. You'd want a much more specific topic for your particular research. If you don't know how to narrow that down, you can go to subject terms at the top of the page and say, well, what items on climate change can I find? What type of topics can I find on this? You can browse through the keyword climate change and see what some other subject headings might be. Climate change and health, climate change, and politics. So you can narrow your search term down by a more specific topic, or you can stay at the broader term, say climate change, and then narrow your topic down as you go. But you will want to start with your main word and then narrow that down much more before you actually start doing your main research. Sometimes you'll want to write a sentence about what your topic is, and then use some of those key or important words in your subject to do your research on here. I'm going to start with the subject heading climate change. So I'm going to say what articles in the database have climate change in them. In this particular database, when I click climate change, it shows me that there's over 112,000 articles on climate change. So I obviously want to be more specific in my focus. Now, in the news lately, we've heard a lot about glaciers melting and glaciers in it. So I'm going to add the word glaciers to my search term. So by doing that, it's saying how many of the articles on climate change in this particular database also have the word glaciers. So I'm going to narrow my search term by that. And from 112,000 articles, I have 2,626 articles. Some of these articles are magazine articles, some of them are newspaper articles, and some of them are scholarly journals written by scholars for scholars in the field. I can narrow my search down in a number of ways. I can limit it to scholarly or peer-reviewed journals, so I'm only getting articles that are written for academic writing. I can limit it by year. This particular research brought it down to 1969, and I might not be interested in going that far back, so I can say, well, I'm only interested in articles published since 2000 or 2005 or 2010. So by picking that, I can narrow my search down and have a smaller number of articles to do my research on. I can narrow it down by the type of resource. I can narrow it down by other subjects, like there's a glaciers and climate is a subject heading, so I can click and narrow my search down by that. Or another alternative is I can add another one, so another topic to my search. So I could say, I'm not interested in just glaciers and climate change, but I'm interested in how they relate to Greenland. So if I type in the word Greenland, and redo my search, I have 263 articles from 1997 through 2020. I can narrow my topic down even further by year and start looking at those resources. You get the title of the article and basic citation information. If it says full text finder, that means that this particular database does not have that article in it for you to access here. If you click the full text finder and follow the links, you may very well find that article in one of our other databases. If under the citation it says request through interlibrary loan, that means that that article is not available through Bridgewater State University, but we would be glad to try to get it for you. So if you see an article that you'd like and we don't have access to it, you can click on request through interlibrary loan. You can ask one of our staff to obtain that article for you. We will get it for you, and then when it comes in, if it's an article, we will send you a link in your BSU email, and you can open up the article. Now, if you're only interested in articles that are full text that you can read online, you can limit your search to full text articles by clicking on the full text button on the side of the screen. Once that's done, I have 142 articles that are related to climate change, glaciers, and Greenland. If I want to, I can add even a further narrowing search term. I can add the plus button and say, well, how many of these articles deal with humans or people, or have humans or people in them, because I want to relate human change in my article as I'm thinking. So then I can narrow my search down and get even fewer articles. So the more subject headings I put up here, the narrower my search is going to be. So my first article that I've found is Icy Waters, Sensing and Feeling Climate Change. So if I wanted to look at that article, I can click on the PDF full text article, open that article up, look through it, and see if it has content and information that will match what I'm looking for. If this article seems to be relevant and match what you're looking for, there are multiple ways you can save it. You can download it to your device, you can print it, you can pull it into your Google Drives, you can save the permanent link, and you can also email the article to yourself. This envelope right here is how you would email the article to yourself. You would put in your BSU username and your subject, if to remind you of why you're getting that particular article later on. And you can also narrow it down by format. So for this particular class, APA is one of the standard recommended resources. So you can say, I want the draft of my citation sent to me in APA format, and then you can send the citation to yourself. Another method you can do is you can create an account from this particular company's databases, and you can sign in and create resources there. That's not the typical way, but you can create an account for them. Whatever you do, use the links that say download, save, print, or pull it into Google Drive. Please do not save the link at the top of the page, because this is not a permanent link. So if you save that link and try to get back into your article later on, you will not be successful in finding it. So download it with the download arrow, print it, pull it into Google Docs, email it to yourself. You can also find a draft of the citation to this article on the yellow piece of paper on the right-hand side. If you click on that particular resource, you can choose that you want the draft of that article sent to you. Now, I say draft because these are computer generated. They aren't always in the most recent version of the citation format, and they sometimes do have glitches. This one I'm highlighting right now, for example, right now, the author's last name's all in caps, and that's not how you would normally cite it, but it does give you the content for what you do for your citation. It gives you the author, the last name, the first initial, and all the information you need. So I always suggest, if you use a computer-generated citation source, then always review it, or use another method to make sure that it is up to standards and what you're looking for. Once you're done with a particular citation, you can go to your results list and pull up some other articles on your topic. So anything that says PDF or HTML, you can read the article, view the article, and look at it at that particular time. If you need additional resources, the citations within articles sometimes give you additional information. You can change your search topics articles to get additional resources, or you can go to the top of the page where it says choose databases, and this is a list of some of the other databases that we have. So if you wanted to say, well, I wanted some more newspaper resources, you can click the little yellow bubble at the end of where it says newspaper resources, and you can say, well, I want to add these additional resources into my search. So if you didn't get enough articles, by going to choose databases and clicking on some of these other resources, you can add to your search term depending upon what resources you want. So go review those. When you want to look at them, add them to your search. You click on the type in front of the title, say OK. Your search looks the same, but if you do show all, it will show you that you've added additional databases. And then when you redo your search, you'll find additional articles. So this is just a very brief introduction on how to find articles using one of our databases, Academic Search Premier. There are multiple other databases you can try on this page. You can try Academic OneFile and look for other articles similar to this. Another option is you might want to use Films on Demand. Films on Demand is a really good source for finding films. You can find snippets of films or large films. So you can go into this particular database, click on it. In the search box, you can type in what you're looking for. You can do climate change and glaciers, or you can just type in glaciers, whatever your particular search is. You can hit the enter key, and you will get caliber videos that you could use in citing your sources as well. So this is just a couple of resources. I'm going to X out of that particular one. These are just a demonstration of a couple of the resources. For additional information on citing sources, you can go to the bibliographic style guides or use a search engine called NightCite. You can click on Ask a Librarian to get some additional information, or you can chat with us about further information and resources. I hope this has been beneficial. Quick introduction to how to use the library resources of the Maxwell Library. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to contact myself or any of my colleagues, and we would be more than happy to give you more specific assistance on your particular research. Thank you, Comm 102 class, and have a nice day.